So when I started in the car business, the first time I met a customer, he had been in a horrible accident. He had gotten hit by a uke, which a lot of people don't know what that is, but it's a big coal mining truck. In Indiana, there's a lot of coal mining. And he had escaped that and was okay, but his credit was a little challenged, so he came to us to look at purchasing a vehicle. So I met him. He looked at this Mercury Tracer. I was explaining to him, if you look at it just a little bit different, it kind of looks like a Mercedes, which he thought so too. Offered him a test drive. He takes the test drive. The next thing I know, the guys are all laughing, my other car guys, and I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, his wheel just fell off on a 4-lane highway, and it's literally the tire. And I'm like in awe. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy just got hit and survived that. So we get him back to the lot. He's very, very nervous. I call my general manager and I was like, hey, I need to get this guy in a car. He was like, Gail, bring him up to our other location. And I said, I will, but I said, I'm going to drive the car. So I went and got in a Buick, like the Sabre, nice full built car, and drove him, talked to him, tried to calm him down. Everything's good. Everything's great. He loves the car. I said, well, we'll just go in and we'll finish the paperwork. As soon as we walk in, another car salesman was like, oh, is this the dude that his wheel just fell off? The one that was in the big car, in the big wreck? And I'm like, really? He got like a 98 Buick LeSabre, gold, a safe car. And that's what I told him. I said, you want something that's safe, and those are safe cars. He just put some money down. He used our financing. He didn't have a settlement yet, but he just needed something to get back and forth to work. We went over that and everything was fine. But yeah, that was kind of a challenge, but we made it, and he was happy with his car. I had started there. That was probably my second month. I had not done Buy Here, Pay Here. I really loved it, and I found out that it's all about numbers. It's all about getting those people in the door, getting that application, and building the rapport. And if you give them an option to say, oh, we'll look around, or if you say, follow me, they're going to follow you 99% of the time. So you just take that confidence and just, because a lot of people keep meandering around. And my best way to help you is follow me. I will lead you to the promised land. So, we're going to get you in a good car. I have this gentleman, and he would not take a blue car. It had to be red. And I took it back to my finance manager, and he's like, do you know who this guy is? And I'm like, no, I don't know who he is. He goes, well, he was incarcerated for rape and murder. And I was like, okay, but can he buy? And and he's like, you're not scared? And I said, if he served his time, why would I be scared? I said, he's here to buy a car. I was like, that doesn't come into my thought process. So yeah, we delivered him a car. And then my one finance manager, he was a womanizer. He loved a lot of women. And so I was trying to get this girl hung on a Fiesta, and this guy did not like the deal. He said, in fact, he told me, he said, get her out of the office. The deal's not going to happen, Gail. Just forget it. I said, okay, that's fine. So I told her, I said, okay, give me like 3 minutes. I said, so I want you to bend over my desk and act like you're using the phone. And I said, I'm going to have this guy walk past, and trust me, we'll get this car. He walks past, he comes back and he goes, can I see you in my office? And I said, sure. And he goes, get her in a car. Nice ass. I said, yeah, I know. So whatever it took, you know what I'm saying? Now, this was in Wichita, of course, and I worked at a dealership for a long time, and I had a little car to trade in, and I needed $500 more on my trade value for my bank to accept it. The car guys were like, no, this is all we're giving you, Gail. These two guys, they were both managers. They were always commenting on my top of the deal. So I went into them. I said, guys, I said, I've been thinking. I said, you're always commenting on my breasts. So I said, why don't you give me $250 for one and $250 for the other one, and tomorrow I'll show you the whole enchilada. Just give me that $500 for my trade. $500 more. That's all I need, guys. And they're like, okay, Gail. And they sign off of it. I go fax it to the bank immediately. The next day I came in a turtleneck. And the guys were like, what are you doing? I go, what do you mean? They're like, what about our agreement? And I said, our agreement? that I got signed and you didn't? Sorry, guys, you lost. But thank you for the 500 bump. Appreciate it. In the time of me being in the buy here, pay here business over, the course of the 25 years, in like a 3.5 year window, I sold 797 cars, which generated about 12 million in gross sales. And I took 632,000 in cash down payments. And that resulted in about 12 million in in-house financing. Keep in mind that the interest rate being about 23.9%, off of that being generated would have been about $200,000 a month in interest. I sold 48 cars in 1 month and my commission was 16,000. Everybody thought that was a lot of money, and I'm like, that's not a lot of money. Not for selling 48 cars. I outsold Topeka, which our dealership up there had 4 salespeople at the time. I was the only salesperson. I outsold them by 1. My owner would never say, great job. I mean, if you ever was looking for that to happen, hell would have froze over. Anyway, I said something about my 48 cars, and he goes, yeah, like shooting fish in a barrel, Gail. And I just walked off. And the next day I came in and he goes, hey, I probably shouldn't have said that. And I said, you know what? You already said it. I'm a big believer in when people say something, that's what they mean. But that's okay. I know what I'm worth. I know what I did. I don't really need a pat on the back. I just need paid. I had a gentleman come in and he wanted to sell his 2018 Toyota Tundra, a one owner with 30-some thousand miles. In my mind, I'm thinking, why aren't you taking it to Toyota? First of all, I don't know if he just liked me or what the thing was. And he goes, well, I want to deal with you. And I was like, well, I said, what do you want for it? And he said, well, I want 35. Took all the VIN number this and pictures and talked to my owner. And my owner's like, I'm not in at that. He was like, I'm in at 28. So I go back and I tell the gentleman, I'm like, I just can't reach that number. And I'm thinking that's the last time I'm ever going to see this guy, because somebody's going to pick up that truck. I mean, even somebody could probably just go get a loan for it and be okay. I mean, it is a one owner, clean as everything. And it was like an hour later, here he comes and he goes, can I get the check today? He goes, he had been in the hospital for a number of months and he had other vehicles, but he said, I just got to get rid of this one. He goes, his medical bills are killing me. So we did end up at 28.5, but we sell that on the lot for 44,995. When I very first started there, it was a 3-year deal. There was no differentiation. I mean, unless it was absolutely a killer deal and he felt like they could go 3.5 years. Now we're going basically 3.5 is kind of our deal, but we can go up to 5 years because we carry some a 2021 Dodge Ram 2500 diesel 64.9. So keep in mind, even at the 23.9% interest on a, what did I say, 3.5 year term, you're basically doubling the price, on top of it already being doubled by the dealership.
Successful car purchasing is all about knowing your buying power and being able to move quickly. And the best way to do that is getting pre-qualified with Premier Financial Services. Call one of these numbers, speak to one of their representatives, fill out their application, and then you'll know exactly how much car you can buy. You'll approach a seller, tell them you're already qualified, you've got your simple lease set up from Premier Financial, and you'll be able to close very, very quickly. That's why Premier is one of the most powerful partners in the world of exotic car financing, and that's why I turn to them every time I go out and try to buy something crazy.